Did you know that without one specific piece of paper, your entire financial and legal world essentially freezes after you pass away? It's true. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a deeply detailed step-by-step look at exactly how to navigate the process of getting a death certificate in Tennessee. It's not exactly the most fun topic, I know, but having this document is absolutely crucial, and I'm here to make the process as clear and straightforward as possible. Let's just state a harsh reality right up front. Handling paperwork is literally the absolute last thing anyone wants to do while they're grieving. But here's the thing. Why is this single piece of paper the absolute key to protecting a loved one's legacy? The truth is, this document is the absolute necessity for settling estates, claiming benefits, and securing a family's financial future. Without it, the system just stops. So let's unlock exactly how you get it in your hands. To make this bureaucratic maze as painless as possible, we have structured this explainer into 6 clear, actionable sections. We're going to cover 1. Why you need it. 2. Who is eligible. 3. What you need. 4. How to apply. 5. Fees and delivery. And finally, 6. Need more help.
All right, let's jump into Section 1, Why you need it, the crucial first step in settling an estate. By law, a certified death certificate is required to manage the affairs of someone who has passed. We're talking about everything from something as basic as closing a utility account or transferring a car title, all the way up to major moves like claiming life insurance. And here's a really critical detail for Tennessee specifically. If you're dealing with an estate valued under $50,000, you can actually use Tennessee's simplified probate track, which is known as the Small Estates Act. But guess what? You cannot even initiate that expedited process without this certified document.
Now, Tennessee actually has a unique little quirk in its system. The state issues 2 completely different classifications of death certificates. First, you've got the without cause certificate. This version is used for general administrative tasks, and it deliberately leaves out the medical diagnostic sequence that led to the passing. On the flip side, we have the with cause certificate, which reveals all of those medical details. Knowing which one you need is super important. For instance, a lot of life insurance beneficiaries specifically have to have the with cause version to get their claims processed.
Moving right along to Section 2, Who is eligible? Navigating the eligibility rules.
So the state of Tennessee fiercely protects these vital records. They want to prevent fraud and protect privacy, which makes total sense. Let's break down these rules. If you're an immediate nuclear family member, meaning a mother, father, son, daughter, husband, or wife, you are automatically entitled to request the without cause certificate. Funeral directors are also entitled to request it, provided the document is being mailed directly back to the funeral home that handled the services. So if you're in this group, your path is pretty straightforward. But if you fall outside that immediate family circle, or if you specifically need that with cause version we just talked about, the hurdles definitely get a bit higher. If you're a beneficiary, an executor, a legal guardian, or an attorney, you have to provide solid documentary proof of your legal relationship. As an example, an executor has to hand over a copy of the letter of testamentary or the last will. A beneficiary, you've got to provide a copy of the insurance policy proving you're actually named on it and proving that the cause of death is required to release those funds.
All right, Section 3, What you need. Gathering your information and documents.
What you're seeing here is Form PH-1663. It's the official Tennessee death certificate application. Seeing it right here makes the whole process feel way more tangible, right? It's just a single page, but filling it out correctly the first time is absolutely critical to avoid any annoying delays. To make sure your application sails right through the system, you've got to be accurate. You will need the deceased's full name, the exact date of death, the place of death, so city, county, and state, plus the name and location of the funeral home. And crucially, you cannot forget your own signature as a requester, along with a clear statement explaining exactly why you need the copy. That last part is especially important if you're asking for the cause of death to be included.
You also literally cannot get this document without submitting proper identification. The state requires a photocopy of a valid, government-issued ID that clearly shows your signature. Think along the lines of a driver's license. So here's the huge takeaway. If you mail in an application without a copy of your signed ID, they will reject it outright. Now, if you don't have an ID for some reason, there is a workaround. You can get the application officially notarized. Also, if you're acting as an authorized representative for someone else, you need photocopies of both your ID and their ID, plus a signed statement from them giving you legal permission to do this.
On to Section 4, How to Apply. Choosing your submission method. Your first option is doing it in person. If you're someone who prefers handling things face-to-face, you can just pop into most local county health departments right in Tennessee. Or you can head over to the main office of Vital Records at the Andrew Johnson Tower in Nashville. You simply walk in, hand over your completed application and your valid ID, and pay the fee right there to the clerk.
If you'd rather skip the drive, your second option is applying by mail. You'll gather up your signed form, the photocopy of your ID, and your payment. Just a heads up on that, the payment has to be a check or money order. Never, ever send cash in the mail. You'll package the whole bundle up and send it straight to the Tennessee Vital Records office in Nashville.
Your third and honestly usually the fastest method is applying online. You start this process over at tn.gov, and they'll actually redirect you to the state's only authorized vendor, a company called VitalCheck. You'll go through a quick electronic verification process and pay with a major credit or debit card. Just keep in mind, because you're using a third-party vendor for this service, you are absolutely going to see some additional processing and shipping fees tacked on at checkout.
Okay, let's talk numbers. In Section 5, fees and delivery, costs and processing times.
So what is this going to cost you? The base fee, strictly mandated by the state of Tennessee, is exactly $15. And that's a flat rate for each certified copy of a death certificate you request. So whether it's your very first copy or your fifth copy, it's $15 a pop.
There are definitely a few processing details you really need to be aware of here. The timelines vary wildly depending on how you apply. In-person visits, those can often get you same-day results. You can literally walk out with the paper in your hand. Mail orders, though, take about 7 business days to process once they actually receive your letter, plus the time it takes in mail transit. Now, here's a really fascinating detail about that $15 fee. It actually functions as a search fee. The state is going to search the year of death you gave them, plus the year before and the year after. If they search and can't find the record, they'll issue a formal no record found certificate. And unfortunately, that $15 fee is totally non-refundable, even if they come up empty-handed.
And finally, Section 6. Need more help? Troubleshooting and resources.
Look, even if you are perfectly prepared, government processes can still have hiccups, and usually the biggest pitfalls are the absolute simplest mistakes. A tiny typo or inaccurate detail on your form is going to cause an immediate processing delay. And like I stressed earlier, forgetting to include a copy of your signed ID will completely dead stop a mail-in order. Now here's a massive pro tip right from the Vital Records guidelines. Death records can actually take up to 30 days from the event to be initially registered, so if you apply on day 3, the certificate might not even exist in their system yet. Oh, and one last thing. If you're dealing with a 10-care release request specifically for Medicaid estate recovery, you have to ensure you submit a copy of the death certificate that has the deceased Social Security number completely unredacted.
If you mailed in your application and it's been over 45 days with 0 response, or if you're just stuck trying to navigate some really unique legal situation, do not hesitate to reach out for help. You can call the Tennessee Office of Vital Records directly at 615-741-1763, or you can jump onto their official portal at vitalrecords.tn.gov to get more support.
Real quick before we wrap up, I need to leave you with this really important disclaimer. Always verify these procedures, the ID requirements, and the current fees directly with official sources like tn.gov or your local county health department before you actually apply. State regulations, the forms, the fees, they can and definitely do change over time.
We've definitely covered a lot of detailed ground today in this explainer. But remember, having this crucial paperwork securely in your hands is what empowers you to push past those administrative hurdles and confidently protect your loved one's legacy. It's tough, but it's completely essential. So, armed with all this knowledge, what step will you take today to secure that peace of mind for tomorrow? Thanks so much for joining me to figure out this important process.